do do do. Okie dokie, I'm just going to have a quick dive in. Give me a second. Alright, go over to there. Alright, good evening. Hello Precious. Hello Maria. No electricity. Uh-oh. There's a lot of, blackouts and power outages happening so frequently these days. And it's not just an accident. Okay, people? You got to understand that. There's a lot of stuff that's going on. You could call it staged. You could call it sabotage. It's classic, let's say, unrestricted warfare. China does it, and America does it. But now it's becoming like, a very much more popular way of conducting war. And that includes all sorts of things like, in America, explosions at oil distribution plants, explosions on the trains up here, explosions and losses of all the ammonium nitrate on the train from there to there. Texas chicken farms, cattle farms, pig farms blowing up, burning. Millions of animals being killed or dying. Some of it, of course, is part of just nature, but the astonishing scale of tragedy, especially to the animals, it's not an accident. As you know, there are some people over here who are very, very high up in the, let's say, the pecking order, of the world elites. And they have an agenda which to me is pure evil. Rather than letting, human nature take its course and allowing the good to flourish and not allowing the bad to flourish. Hello, Love Triber. Just nature takes care of itself anyway. It's mind-boggling when you actually just stop interfering with nature. But they can't help themselves. These folks up here, most of them have their offices right up here, sort of in the Brussels, Belgium, Netherlands area over here, and Davos in Switzerland. Here's a better map. Over here. Okay. Of course, there's the big war raging over here. Anyway, the thing that I was trying to get to is going back to those charts over time. Where are they all? Okay. You know, months and months ago I was talking about war. Okay, there's this one here, middle of May. I just pronounced here, we're looking at war. Mars opposite Pluto. War. Okay, amplified by Jupiter on the cusp here, cusp here, cusp here. War. Violence. Explosive escalation in violence all across the world. Anywhere that there could be war, war is starting to break out. There was already war happening, but it's spreading like wildfire, okay? Hello, precious. Wildfires are finally starting to be contained. My God, it's been a long time up there in Edmonton. So precious is, okay, there's Canada. There's Saskatoon. Okay. There's Calgary, but Edmonton is just up there. Yeah, you had a lot of fires. Also, they've had tremendous wildfires over here and over here. Lots of pictures from satellites showing all the smoke. It's very disturbing, very frightening. But again, what do you expect? Uranus is in Taurus right here with a very kind of incendiary aspect going on. I think Mercury's still what? No, Mercury's direct. Yeah. So where is it over here? Okay, we're still early June. All right. Anyway, sorry, I got distracted there. I was trying to make a point to myself. But anyway, here we are today. This is today's astrodoodle. I just want to point something out, very simplistic and obvious. See this big fat triangle here? That's a big fat T-square. These are the most stressful aspects in astrology that I know of, and I've been doing this for many years. I know I look like a crude, sort of half-baked amateur, but, you know, I can still go up against the best, you know. Path will be listening, just not active. Okay, no problems, don't worry. So, this big fat red triangle, I earmarked that many weeks ago as war. And this triangle is still here today, in one form or another. Let's go back. Sorry. Ugh. Presentation, quality A. Presentation C. Okay, anyway. Let's go back. A few days ago, we had the full moon. A couple days ago. Look at that. Same big fat red triangle. And on top of that, we had this other super big fat red T-square, okay? Okay. And then keep going back. See, the combustibility is still here. Here, here, here. And then over here. This is where I started. I actually had a few more earlier on, but I never kept the astrodoodles. But I decided just for, you know, for the sake of explaining things, I thought maybe it's a good idea to keep the recent astrodoodles. So that's when it started, like towards the middle end of May. But in fact, going back to previous weeks, I was marking this big fat T-square well in advance. In fact, it was kind of hinted already happening when we had that Taurus-Scorpio full moon eclipse like 6-7 weeks ago. Anyway, here we are today. A couple days ago, the moon was up there in Sagittarius. Well, actually, that was yesterday evening. And now the moon has moved over here, far enough away to take away the main stressors of this T-square. But still, this is very active. Now, it just so happens, you know, I'm trying to illustrate these in such a way that big fat colors is more powerful. And also thin colors is weaker. So I've got some very weak little sweet green trines and sextiles here, which, you know, it's very comforting to have that at least. But we are still dominated by this big fat heavy T-square. It's very dominant because it's pivoting around Pluto, which is moving extremely slowly, of course. And so the things that I'm talking about are things that are happening on the global scale. You know, I've kind of veered away from doing so many private videos for all the astrology signs and all the, you know, sun, moon, and rising, all those videos with all the tarot and the astrology, because I honestly felt I need to focus more on the bigger picture. I'm still perfectly capable of doing, you know, very thorough personal astrology and tarot. And I should be, you know, advertising and promoting this a lot more than I do. It's just that I forget. I've never been the most expert at self-promotion and managing my channel. You've probably figured that out. Anyway, let's keep going here. So right now, the moon is still up in Sagittarius, but it's fading in its hard aspects here. And let's see, about 2.5 days, the moon's going to be over here in Capricorn, and that's still going to be on this axis here. So it's going to amplify the axis. My feeling is that when the moon hits here in Capricorn, it's going to trigger fear, fearful reaction, fearful behavior from the elites of the elites at the very, very top. Those are the globalist type of people who are trying to control the world, take it over and turn it into one massive communist dictatorship. A massive authoritarian surveillance state where everything that you might love about America, especially the good stuff, as delineated here in the Constitution. No one else has this in the world, remember that. Right now, all of this is in deep, deep jeopardy. And why is that so? Well, in the astrology, it's a natural cycle. It's the end. It's the death cycle. We're at the very last stages of the death of a complete cycle. Like when you have a solar cycle and you go through the whole 360 degrees and you come to the last 5 degrees, people can get really depressed and miserable because they start going through these 12th house issues over here, where people start to feel very sad, reluctant, regret, grief about everything in which they failed in the last solar cycle. But it's good I think it's good to acknowledge that and feel that. But anyway, when you talk about Pluto, it isn't just a year or a solar cycle or a lunar cycle, 28 days or whatever. We're talking about 250 years here. So flip back to 1776 and 1787, when all of this good stuff was being enshrined in our constitutional republic, such that we have this amazing thing that we still have today. And we still have a constitution. We had notably the First and Second Amendment, but we have all the others as well. And this is essentially, like in tarot, this would be like the Hierophant. This would be like the code book. This would be like the Bible. This would be like the mission statement, the operator's manual for the United States. And it's really extremely well thought out and very pure and very kind of, I'm not saying simple, because a lot of stuff that they deal with is very, very profound. Okay? There's the Declaration of Independence, and there's the, let me find the, okay, so here it is. This is the Bill of Rights, fully ratified. The last big one was 1791, but before that it was more like 1787, and they were working on it from even before 1776 to get to the point where all of this is written down and formalized. And of course, the really, really, really big ones are the First Amendment and the Second Amendment. Freedom of speech and the right to bear arms. That's it. The reason why we have the right to bear arms in the Second Amendment is to protect us when freedom of speech is denied. Okay? Because the only reason it would be denied is because our government is trying to suppress us. And that's exactly what's happening today, as you all know. So anyway, the thing is that a lot of what we've observed happening in the United States over the last 250 years, a lot of the stuff that we're talking about is internal. But as the American phenomenon grew, they spread their energy across the world, across the whole of planet Earth. Now that includes the negative and the positive. So the sweet stuff is all about the good things about the United States and how this was propagated all over the world. And a lot of countries have tried to adopt this and institute our Constitution into their country, but they give up at the last minute, especially with the Second Amendment, because all the leaders of all these countries realize very simplistically and deep down, oh, wait a minute, how are we going to maintain absolute control if the population is armed and ready and willing and able to take us down if we're misbehaving while we're trying to run the country? Oh, we better scratch that. Okay, let's go back to this page over here. You know what? Let's do all of this kind of cool stuff here, but we'll forget this one. Scratch the Second Amendment, people. Okay? So let's get on and run our country, but no one is allowed to have guns. There are very, very few places on Earth where you're legally, constitutionally allowed and encouraged to have guns and protect yourself from criminals and from the enemies, and especially the enemies within. We still have that here, but they have bits of it here, they have bits of it here, little bits of it here and here. In Switzerland, yes. But most of the rest of the world is operated by leaders and, let's say, constitutions that forbid gun ownership. Now, a lot of people get very angry with America because it's starting to be understood that America has also propagated a lot of very unhealthy, unpleasant, unwelcome energy. And that's what happens with the abuse of power. And the abuse of power is just as likely to happen as the use and healthy expression of power. It's always there, okay? So especially when we're talking about Pluto and Pluto in power, there's always the balance. Are we going to, like every day you wake up, what am I going to do with my life? I have my hands, okay? Am I going to go out and do my day job? Or am I going to get pissed off and angry because something's wrong with my life? And am I going to punch an old woman in the face just because I'm pissed off? Am I going to get pissed off at someone, like say I'm dating a sweet girl and she doesn't want to go out with me anymore, and just like what happened in India the other day, I decide, you know what, screw you. You can't dump me, I dump you. So he stabs her 22 times using his hand. Okay? Choice. Now, with these hands, you can also do things like remote healing. You can express tenderness and care. You can be very creative in ways that are beneficial to other people. It's the same hands, but it's a different energy that's flowing through your hands. Your hands are holy, okay? They are instruments of the healing power of love. I'm going to show you this again. I've done it many times. This is it. This is it. What are you going to do with your hands? Okay? Now, you can actually, if you want to, you can put a gun in this hand. And what are you going to do with that? Are you just going to shoot somebody because you don't like them? Or are you going to use it to defend yourself in your God-given right to defend yourself? You know? I'll try and find those beautiful pictures. See, there's an illustration of the healing power of love in action. The healing hands, okay? Hands of light, people. A guide to healing through the human energy field. The very same energy field can be abused and mistreated. And that's when you get people who create media and content and stories and strategies to try and destroy you. Classic examples would be the communist, or the Marxist ideology. The what do you call it? What's that book? The Karl Marx. I've just ordered a copy of the book because I want to be able to walk the talk. But Karl Marx and the Communist Manifesto. I've already done a fair bit of homework on the Communist Manifesto. And just like it always did, ever since I was a little kid, I had the little red book from Mao because I was curious. Why are all these people obsessed with these mind-boggling, oppressive, evil regimes where you're supposed to obey the code of this little book and things like love, God, friendship, family, faith, freedom, happiness, your sovereignty of self, the ability to transact, the freedom of speech, the right to self-defense. All of those things are obliterated in the Communist Manifesto, and they are declared evil because what happens is, according to them, is that it creates inequality. In other words, someone who's smart and works hard and does good things with their body, mind, heart, and soul and their hands can prosper and can share that prosperity with other people. And that is celebrated here in the United States, especially through this, because when you adhere to the Constitution and you understand the incredible privilege that we have in this country of having a constitutional republic where all the power is vested in the states and we the people, and minimal power up here, then it gives us tremendous sovereign wealth and tremendous freedom and the ability to actually prosper and be happy. The problem with that formula, as far as the Communist Manifesto is concerned, is that it's not fair. Because there's some people who don't like to work. There's some people who feel as though there are others who are, let's say, nasty and mean and taking away the rights of other people by being successful. It's like it's illegal to be successful. It's illegal to have things like home, family, wealth, compassion, empathy. All those things are demonized as evil. And the manifesto is all about squashing everything down so that everybody is equal. And everybody it's operated and controlled from a command control economy, a command and control centralized dictatorship on the belief that, oh, I know better than you. I may not be an expert at civil engineering, but I know for a fact I can build an amazing dam in China. So build it. So right now the CCP has built this amazing dam in China, but it's all falling apart. Same thing with their military. Same thing with all their housing. And it's all operated by dictatorship, okay? There's lots of dictatorships all over the world. And everywhere that people live under a dictatorship, that's where people try to escape and come to America. Now the United States is deeply at risk of turning into a Marxist, totalitarian, surveillance state dictatorship owned and run and operated by a very tiny handful of people at the very, very, very tippity top. I'm not into that. I'm personally not into that. I prefer the old ways. Very, very small federal government. The federal government's primary job is to protect our borders. That's the number one job of the federal government, to protect our borders and keep an eye on international commerce, such that if there is a conflict or some sort of dispute, then it can go through the federal government that deals with all these other countries, and then you come to a resolution, and then everybody goes back to business the next day. But the United States, I believe, has about 25 million government employees now, which is absurd. We just don't need that. It's very sick, it's very, very unhealthy, and it's like a massive cancerous tumor that's bleeding the people dry. We, the people, are being farmed. It's a debt farm. They're bleeding us. They're taking our milk, our heart, our bodies, mind, heart, and soul, our energy, our life force, and they're sucking it up into their wallets. They translate it through the financial system into what they consider wealth, and they stuff it in their wallets. I tried to show, hold on, let me go over here. Good evening and welcome. I tried to do something really clever today. I couldn't do it. It didn't work. I managed to do it on my Twitter and managed to do it on my Truth Social, but I couldn't figure out how to do it on my YouTube or my Rumble. It's just a little, so I'll just share the story with you. I've probably talked about it before. Oh, by the way, this is iced tea. I've probably had about a gallon of water today because it's been so hot, and I got all hot and sweaty and dirty with work. But now I can chill with my iced tea. So, what I did was, I was very lucky to stumble on a video that I had lost earlier. It's actually just a little tiny short video from somewhere like on, I don't know, maybe it was a TikTok or a YouTube short or just a tiny little video. And it was very well edited and clipped in such a way that the message got across very, very simply and quickly. And you know how when you look at the screen for these little videos, there's kind of like a block down the middle and it's all black on the sides. That's really all you can see. But the video is still very powerful. And I'm going to try to find a way to get it out there for you because I relate to it very strongly. Because I often use the analogy of how we, the people, are being farmed as debt cows, going ultimately to the slaughter. Once you have delivered all the milk, all the fat, all the meat, all the labor and sweat of your personal life through the phenomenon of fiat currency and the debt system, which is how the United States operates, it's essentially like being a cow, or a chicken, or a pig, or a fish. All the animals that are born and bred and raised for consumption. A lot of it is done in factories and with incredibly cruel, inhumane treatment. But that's how it is today. I am a carnivore. I eat meat. I love my food. And I'm always very grateful for the animals. And I wish it didn't have to happen, but it does. So anyway, there are ways to raise animals and enjoy them without doing what is done to them on the mass scale. Obviously, the mass scale happens because of business, the desire of businesses to satisfy a demand. So they realize, oh, we can provide more beef, more chicken, more pork, more seafood, more corn, whatever it is, if we engineer it and industrialize it, okay? And forget humanity, forget compassion, forget empathy, forget that these are beautiful animals that have hearts and souls. Doesn't matter. We'll just farm them. And so that's what they do. And it's taken a long time for Americans to wake up that they are being farmed. So the beauty about this little video is that you can see all sorts of clips about all these cows, pigs, chickens. What are some of the other ones? Anyway, mostly cows, pigs, and chickens, and how they are figuring ways to get out of the trucks and the ramps that go to the slaughterhouses. Because some of the animals are smart. They realize, wait, there's something going on here. It's not right. I'm stuffed inside a truck with 100 other buddies of mine, and they're too dumb to figure it out, and they don't know what's going to happen. But I know, and I'm not going to wait to find out. I'm getting out of this truck. I'm getting out of this farm. I'm getting out of this ramp. I'm getting off of this chicken truck. And it's amazing to see. It's like, photographs that are taken by, drivers with their dash cams. And you can see pigs jumping out of trucks, chickens jumping out of trucks, cows jumping out of trucks, running away and being chased. The police chasing these animals. It's just fabulous. I mean, I don't know what happens to the animals after they escape. Probably not a very pretty ending, but still. At least they tried, Anyway, that's what I tried to post today, and I'm sorry I failed. Sorry about that. Anyway, here we are today. Oh, we got a booking, by the way. I just got a booking. I just realized that. Mr. Gregory Ross. You probably all know the name Gregory Ross by now. Gregory has very kindly donated so that he can have a live mini reading with tarot cards tonight. If anybody wants one, I can probably handle a couple. Maybe a couple more. We'll see. Where's the lid? Oh, there it is. So, okay, sorry, where are we? So yeah, if, just mentioning, thank you, Gregory. So let me just see if you're here in the chat. I'm just going to go through the chat. It will end shortly. Why is it stopping? What's happening? Oh, that's freaking weird. Excuse me. God, it's almost like the video. Somebody tried to just shut down the video. Somebody just tried to shut down the freaking live stream. Hold on. It's not, is that possible? Anyway. Thank you, Mr. Ross. So I can take, just for, and if there is anybody out, sometimes people watch but they don't check in. Like, the only ones that I can tell are like the people in the chat, but sometimes there's lots more, but I just never really know. So I have to, I'm going to try to reach out, like I do. So if anybody's out there and you've never done this before and you want to hang out and you want to get a mini reading, you can go over here. You might have to use another device or a tab on your computer or something. You go to TarotLumination.com, you click the donate page, you find the donate button, you click the donate button, it takes you to the PayPal processor. You can swipe a debit card or a credit card, and it works beautifully. It's very simple. And then it will show up over here pretty quickly, and then you get your live mini reading. It's a beautiful system, right? In fact, we just had one come in right now. Clickety click. How about that? Miracles. Miracles, people. So we've got another booking from Love Triber. There are some of the folks here. You've been here for years. Love Triber, Maria since 2017, Path probably from 2017, and Love Triber probably from 2017. I'm sure Precious Moments goes way back to at least 2018. I'm not really sure. Gregory Ross, I don't see him on the chat, but he'll probably be here. He goes way back. And there's the other one, Necessary Truth. A lot of you know her as well. She's been with us for years. You know how I like to complain and moan about my YouTube channel and the algorithms and stuff? Well, I feel justified. However, lately there has been a little snippet of good news. It's not really affecting me personally, because what I've done with my channel, I've effectively demonetized the whole thing. Because as soon as you monetize your channel, ding, you're setting yourself up for surveillance, okay? And I've had my share of it. I'm so sick of it. I've had so many deletions, warnings, wipeouts, and strikes, and screwing around with the algorithm that I just can't take it anymore. So I just thought, you know what? I just don't really care anymore. I'm just going to make videos and see what happens. You know, some of the people that I love to watch, they're very, very successful on YouTube. And so it's like, you could say YouTube is curated. And I was curated out of the main flow of healthy, bountiful channel success. You know, at the end of 2018, it was a very specific time. October 2018 is when the happened. But I'm still here. Anyway, so one of the things you learn if you're running a YouTube channel is that there are so many things you have to do behind the scenes to manage it and get it to run properly. But if you have been curated out of the system, it doesn't matter what you do behind the scenes. You're ucked. Anyway, they have all sorts of ways of making you And another story I like to share, and for new people who are watching, in case you're wondering, well, like, why is this, what a weird channel. I have all sorts of people who contact me telling me, oh, I want to help your channel. I can do this, this, and this, and this, and I can do that, and that, and that, and that. And I know about all those things and all that stuff. And of course, they want to get paid realistic and good money to provide those services. And then I say, okay, well, give it a shot. I'm willing to give you a shot. And then they discover very quickly, like, oh, actually, I can't help you. Sorry, good luck, goodbye. You've got a wonderful channel. I love your channel. It's just like, but, bye. So that's the situation here. But tonight, we have 2 mini readings. Fantastic. All right, so let me go over here for a second. All right. We have a reading from Love Triber. Okie dokie. Wonderful, 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 wonderful. There's a fellow that I like to watch sometimes. His name is Dick Allgaier. He has a channel called Crypto Viewing. And he has a team of people that he likes to hang out with through his like Zoom things. You know how we do Zoom things here? When I do private readings and meetings with people all over the world, I use my Zoom system, and it's fantastic. It's just wonderful. And he does the same, but he likes to, his thing that he likes to share is remote viewing. That's where you, let's basically, you surrender yourself to the ether around the world. And they've made it their mission to every month to try and spotlight or capture the essence of the biggest headlines for each month coming up ahead. So it's sort of like seeing into the future. And so he does that, and he's actually really good at it, and his team members are really good at it. And if you remember a few months ago, Love Triber prompted me to enter a competition using my own personal remote viewing skills, and I was very, very reluctant because it meant like, oh God, I don't want to do this. But anyway, we kind of went through it in a half-baked manner, and my feeling now is, looking back, I probably could have won. Because I got so many elements that were correct, but I kind of overdid it. I got the colors, the shapes, and everything. And with the assistance of Love Triber, we could have basically nailed the whole thing, and we could have split the winnings. But anyway, it didn't happen because I doubted myself and I didn't want to participate. So I contaminated my own energy. If I had jumped on it and said, ooh, I can do that, I can do that, that would have infused healthy, positive energy, and I probably would have won. But it didn't happen. So here we are today. We're at this kind of tipping point. Here it is. This is the tipping point, and everybody on planet Earth is feeling it, whether they like it or know it or not, whether they acknowledge it, whether they talk about it or share it. Some people are acutely aware, and they are, let's say, formulating plans for their future. A lot of it is based on fear, because what they're realizing is there's some very scary stuff going on regarding the unhealthy expression of Pluto in Capricorn 29 degrees mark, which is going to amplify over the next few months. Why do I say that? It's because of this. You see this right here? That's the 0 point. Pluto goes into Capricorn retrograde. We've been dealing with Pluto retrograde in Aquarius around the 0 degree mark for many, many weeks now. But now we're officially slipping back into Capricorn. Okay, on a close-up on the chart, that's right here. Of course, you can see it in my magical work of art right here. This is the cusp right here. Pluto is right there on the cusp. We've been dealing with the 0 degree for many, many weeks, when people were starting to get a glimpse of what the hell is the world going to look like when we get into Pluto and Aquarius for the next 20 years. Well, you can already tell it's going to be a lot of revolutionary upheaval, massive destabilizing advances with intelligence and science and technology. The obvious example being artificial intelligence. And of course, just like the energies I was talking about earlier with Pluto, there's a healthy expression and then there's an unhealthy expression. And we're going to get both. We're going to get amazing, wonderful things happening for the whole of the human population with Pluto and Aquarius. And the healthy, positive aspects are going to be to do with the, let's say, the equalization of humanity, where everybody gets a chance to feel that they are participating in this incredible experience of life, where we are part of the community of humanity, where no one in particular has to stand out. It's like swarm energy or hive energy, where, I don't know if you've ever seen swallows doing their thing, or if you've watched bees, or just how things swarm. If they've done very intense studies on this stuff to try and understand swarm energy and hive energy. But it's a very, very beautiful thing, and it's how the swarm or the hive operates for the best outcome of the hive, the best outcome of the swarm, which translates into what is the best outcome for every individual member of the hive, of the swarm. So it's an amazing thing, but still not a lot of people understand it in terms of science and technology and all the psychic phenomenon. Like, how the bleep does swarm energy work? Like, there must be, is there some kind of brain when you're looking at all the swallows flying around and doing that? What motivates them to go from here to here to there. It's like watching art in motion. It's fabulous to see. And there's a reason for it happening the way it does. And I just think it's beautiful. And I think we're going to see that. Like hive energy, swarm energy for what is beneficial for we the people. The thing is, to understand and appreciate what is healthy, it often requires having an understanding and an appreciation of what is not healthy, because otherwise you have no definition. Where is the 0 point? How are you going to understand what is healthy expression, what is unhealthy expression? So my feeling is that we're also going to see some very, very diabolical abuse of this beautiful energy. And that will be from the people, the elites, the ones who are still remaining at the top, finding ways to exploit humanity through technology. Okay? Think of the Aquarius energy. Technology, science, the future, advances, radical innovation, highly unpredictable newness, shock and awe and awakening, evolutionary leaps, bam, bam, explosive firework type energy, highly unpredictable, highly unstable, but essential for evolution. So we're going to go through a 20-year cycle. And we're going to see both sides of it. And we just had a glimpse in the last few months what that's looking like. You know, with all the world wars expanding and the idea of, look at it this way, the idea of community versus communism. Okay? Some kind of scientific person would probably, or academic genius would probably find a way to convince you that a healthy, loving community of, beliefs and healthy beliefs and universal truth, friends and family and love and compassion and pets and animals and the home and healthy behaviors, healthy, abundant behavior. They could find a way to flip that around and make it look toxic and superimpose their energy idea, which would be communism, about how that would work as an equalizing force for humanity. So it's like the perversion. So it's a very sick perversion of the good stuff. The good stuff is beautiful. There's going to be amazing, wonderful things happening during Pluto Aquarius journey. But there's also going to be some very disturbing, frightening, shocking things. And a lot of that, I think, is going to be the energy of revolution, where some people are going to realize there is some shocking, horrific stuff going on as the evil elites try to superimpose their Marxist, communist, totalitarian, thug-like control mechanisms across the whole of humanity in order to feed themselves off of you. Basically harvesting the community, farming the community for themselves. It's pure evil, and they've already been outed. There are enough people across planet Earth right now who have figured this out. They already understand. They already know. There's a very evil agenda. And the most powerful and effective way that they have figured out to impose their evil agenda is by creating these CBDCs, central bank digital currencies. And the whole idea is that it operates just the way they do in China today. Over here, where they already have CBDCs, central bank digital currency. And the currency is basically the background because everyone needs currency as a medium of exchange. But the real purpose of the CBDCs over here in China is to exert extreme command and control over every individual in the population, such that the leaders of this amazing country can just press a few buttons and they can destroy your life through your smartphone. A lot of people over there have smartphones. There's 1.4 billion people over there. What's that? That's like 4.5 times the population of America. Okay, and they all live in this side of the country, this section over here. Imagine that, 1.4 billion people squashed into that space, about the size of the eastern half of the United States. Talk about crowded. Anyway, whenever, look at it this way in terms of politics. If you hear a politician or a leader coming up to you and telling you like this, vote for me and I will save you. Okay? When you hear that, or when you see that, or any version, or let's say variation on that theme, run. Run as fast as you can in the other direction. Get away from that. And that's what the federal government does. They're always pumping out these storylines and narratives like, we are here to save you. All you have to do is give us your taxes, and then we will spend them in the ways that we have determined is best for you. Okay? And if you want accountability on what we're doing and how we're doing it, that's right. Okay? And what can you do with something like that? You know, the FBI, CIA, DOD, DHS, all of them. They're all corrupt. They've all turned into weapons for the elites. It's basically structured just like communism right now. You can actually see it in Canada. Canada is at great risk of losing itself. Canada is totally infected with the Chinese CCP. It's like a massive cancerous tumor. China is in deep trouble. Canada is in deep trouble. China is falling apart from the inside. Its own cancer is eating itself from the inside out. There are enough Chinese people who are realizing, like, we don't like this. We don't really want anything to do with the CCP. But you can't get out of China. There are millions of people trying to get out of China now to get away from the CCP. But guess what? The CCP will track you anywhere in the world and take you down. Okay? It's very, very scary what's happening. Tina Miller. Oh, you have money. Yay! Thank you, Ms. Miller. Okay, let me put that on a note over here. Let's go back over here. Alright, so I'm going to put up. So that's probably all I can handle, folks. I'm going to be stretched as it is just to do these 3 readings. So bear with me. We better get on with it. I haven't seen Gregory here tonight, so I'm probably going to put him at the end of the list. We'll start with Love Triber, and then we'll go to Tina Miller. My voice is already failing. Oh dear. So let me go back to the eclipses weeks and weeks and weeks ago, because that energy is still here with us today. And as you know, I love to watch some of these super heavy duty financial channels that are excellent at what they are, who they are, and what they do. Again, those channels are at high risk of being jeopardized, but I believe they have been curated with a lot of safety measures so that they don't get into trouble, and they are both very successful channels. So I'm very envious. Anyway, one of the themes that we've been talking about for a long time and that I keep ranting about over and over is this stuff. Wealth, money, finance, by yours truly. Okay? And we hit the nail on the head with the actual timestamp, global restructuring, January 2020, when essentially the button was pressed. And after that, the rest is history. Everybody knows what happened after January 2020. And especially the big date, March, whatever it was, 13th, March 3rd, 2020. Also, of course, the elections. Let me just have one more little rant. I think I told you the other day, YouTube, this is very, very exciting. This was very, very encouraging news to me. YouTube just sent out a notice. I think it's all over the media now. It certainly came to me. I had my private YouTube mail letter come to me. But I also saw it, I think, on the Epoch Times or somewhere, wherever it was, where YouTube has, I guess, reluctantly had to remove all their censorship and curation for channels like mine that tell stories based around the idea that the elections were stolen. Remember that? January 6, 2020 and all that. And there was a very, very big, very, very important election. And there was a massive surge who favored a particular candidate who would have won and would be the actual operating president today. But it didn't happen. And that created almost spontaneous revolution. Now, at the time, Pluto was not in Aquarius, but it was pretty damn close. So anyway, there is so much proof and so much raw, hard evidence coming out about what really, really happened on January 6th and all the elections at that time, that the Google, YouTube, algorithm censorship machine can't hold itself up anymore. So they have decided, okay, sorry, we're going to stop censoring people who talk about and who believe that the election was stolen. Okay. So there. I take that as a win. I wish they had stopped that a long time ago, otherwise I'd still have a much healthier channel. I've had so many deletions and warnings and strikes because of those subjects. I don't hardly ever talk about them anymore. But I'm talking about it right now because I personally believe, and I'm absolutely 100% convinced, that that election was utterly abused, distorted, and hijacked. Now, remember, I was extremely angry on that day. I remember live, real time when that happened. Okay? And I knew it was going to be a shocking thing on that election, but I was not prepared for the shock that I received. Anyway, that's the same for millions of other Americans who have my type of sentiments. And there are approximately 75 million Americans who feel the same way that I do. That's a big number. It's hard for YouTube to suppress that much energy. And so they've given up. I think that's pretty cool. Anyway, the thing about, like, truth eventually prevails. There's another saying that I like, which is like, it goes like this. Everything is exactly how it should be. Why is that so? How is that so? Well, the answer is very simple. It's because it can't be any other way. Reality is what it is. Things are the way they are. How you interpret that is a whole other thing. But there are certain things called facts and truth which come from a sort of a universal source that are irrefutable. And the fact is that with January 6th and the rigged, stolen election, a certain person did not actually take office. Someone else was selected and put into office. I'm not saying he was elected, he was selected. Go talk to the people at the Council on Foreign Relations, for example. Who are they? Well, it's a bunch of elites of the elites who basically decide who is going to be the leader. And the elections are just looks like ceremonial fluff. And it's all rigged. But what happened is this certain gentleman blew all that stuff out of the water. And it ended up that the whole election phenomenon was exposed as a fraud. And now here we are today, whatever it is, 20, 21, like 3 years later, still dealing with the outcome. And the beauty is that even back then, even with such, what to me was a very horrific, shocking event on January 6, 2020, that was the fact. That was the reality. So we had to live with it. It was a reality that was imposed on top of a greater reality, but and we're living with that imposition today. But the beauty of it is that, as horrific as it was, the depth of corruption of the deep state has now been fully exposed. There's that expression, we're going to drain the swamp. That's already happened. The swamp has been drained, and now all the swamp creatures are visible. All the swamp creatures have names, and they are heads of offices and stuff. And they've all been identified. And their heads are going to be on the chopping block soon if a certain gentleman gets into office in 2024. Because we're at a point now where the deep state in America is now a fact. It's now proven. Okay? You can argue around it. You can try to censor it. You can try to shut it up. Try to take it all down. But the truth shall prevail. And so what's happening is that even though it's painful, for me it's painful having this fake administration, fake leadership, that's primary agenda is to destroy the United States. They're doing a very good job at it, by the way. It's part of the awakening process. It's part of the end of the Pluto cycle. It's very, very natural part of the death process. It's like when you look at those tragic animal videos where there's an animal being rescued out of a gutter in the middle of Romania or somewhere, or India, or Brazil, and somewhere, and they pick up the animal, they take it back to a rescue clinic, and they discover that the animal is infested with maggots, bots, lice, ticks, diseases, worms, parasites, and the animal is starving and nearly dead. And the obvious solution would be to euthanize the poor creature. But sometimes these rescue people, they intervene. And there's these fabulous stories, just fabulous stories that really bring the sense of hope and love and compassion to life, where the good story doesn't happen to every animal, but I've witnessed these things, and I've helped animals that are very, very sick. I've helped them to recover, but that's another story. But when these are documented, where you get this very, very sick animal that's this close to death, there's still hope. There's still life. Okay? And so what happens when you put enough love into the equation, the maggots are gone, the bots are gone, the lice are gone, the ticks are gone, the diseases are removed, the parasites are removed. Nutrition and love and comfort and compassion is added to the formula. And these creatures come back to life. It's just an amazing thing to witness. Some of it's not perfect. Some of these animals are crippled for life, but they still have big, big heart energy. And it's beautiful to see. And that's how I view America. That's what I see is happening right now in America. And the problem is that America has been infected. We've brought a lot of it on ourselves, and a lot of Americans have actually sold America, sold out America. These people are traitors. It's seditious conspiracy. It's the worst crime. It's treason. These are the worst crimes that you can commit in this country. And basically what they have done is brought disease to this country. So the way I look at it, America is still a living organism based on the original birth of what we have today, the 1776 phenomenon, the Constitution, the Declaration of Independence. That is still alive here. There is still a very powerful pulse alive here in America. But there are people who are deliberately trying to kill us off so that they can take the corpse of America and reconstitute it into this evil abomination and rehashed version of America, which won't be any different from any other evil totalitarian communist regime. Okay? So we're not dead yet. So it's like America's being infected by all these things, but with enough love, care, and attention, time, and energy, we can heal. Okay, remember, Saturn is in Pisces right now for at least another 2 years. So we're going to see firsthand a lot of the disease. It's like we're going to be watching close-up videos of how really, really sick we are as a country here in America. Because you have to reveal it to heal it. So we need to see it. We are going to see how sick and sad and broken this country has become at the hands of evil people. It doesn't have to be this way, but it is this way because it's the natural process of decay. Things go in cycles, okay? Birth, procreation, death. Birth, procreation, death. To infinity. Repeat, repeat, repeat. So there is hope. Okay? We're not dead yet. Let's go over here. All right, let's get on with it. We got stuff to do, people. 3 readings, jeepers, man. Okay. I'm going to put these aside for now. We might need them a little bit later. We'll see. I'm going to put all this stuff aside. We're going to pull out the decks. And we're going to get on. I'm going to reshuffle the magic post-it notes. And we're going to get on with it. I better put this over here so that if somebody does put in money and donate and everything, thank you very much, but you'll have to get your reading next week, but otherwise I can't take any more bookings tonight. I would love to, but I'm not the person I was years ago on this channel. So, here we go. This is what it's going to look like. Love Triber. And then Tina Miller, and then Mr. Gregory Ross. If Gregory's not here, he will get a blind reading, so it's not a problem. Don't worry, anybody. No more readings tonight. Thank you very much, everybody. If anybody wants to book a private reading, like a full-on deep, deep dive, you can do that. I'll just show you one last time over here. Go to TarotLumination.com. You can figure it out from there. Go to the readings, go to the bookings, connect, all of that stuff. Okay? It's pretty straightforward. Let's go over here. All right. You know what? Let's use the Universal Golden. So we have the Sun in Gemini, and the Moon is in Sagittarius. And it was pretty hard squared with Neptune in Pisces, but we've kind of moved beyond that. So we're still dealing with some, I guess, residual Gemini Sagittarius energy. All right, let's have a look. You know, there's so many things we could do with this channel, with these videos. And it will be wonderful and rewarding if the channel had any viability. And that's where I get challenged, because I love to do videos just on Saturn. I'd love to do videos just on the Neptune thing. Or I'd love to do videos on, oh, I don't know, like lunar nodes. Whatever it might be. And we just go all over the place doing all sorts of fun, exciting, adventurous things that people need to understand. The problem is, when you've got a channel like mine, it's very, very, very hard to, let's say, make it happen. It's kind of sad. I can't afford to run a charity operation, so I have to ask for donations. In fact, it's the only thing I can do right now, because I don't get any advertising YouTube revenue anymore. And there was a time, you know, I could pay my rent, my bills, go on vacation, buy my food, all of that stuff. And I loved it. I loved doing 40 videos a month and my live shows and all the private readings in the background. And I was compensated accordingly. It made perfect sense until the end of 2018, when it didn't make sense anymore. And so I've just been hobbling along ever since. But still, if Gregory is here, he would tell me, shut the bleep up. Stop moaning. Okay, so I'm going to stop. We're still here. We're still strong. There's still hope, people. By the way, the Aquarius vibe also, I think, kind of equates with the energy of hope and belief. All right, let's have a look here. Okay, Love Triber, what's going on? Cards are very nicely shuffled. Let's bless this card deck. Just for security reasons, by the way. I do this roughly every year. I check every card in the deck to make sure the deck is still fully integral. Because it's actually quite easy to lose a card now and again. I've never actually done it. Probably because I check things. Alright. So I'm going to do what I always do. I'm going to use the TarotLumination situational spread. Bless this deck. Bless every single beautiful card. Bless the whole channel. Bless everybody here. Bless all the viewers. Bless the technology. The algorithm. Let's bless my algorithm. Let's bless the subscribers. Let's bless the notifications. All these beautiful things. Let's be grateful for how wonderful it really is. All right, Love Triber, you're up. All right, let's see. Let's have a look at the story that comes up here. What messages do we have for Love Triber today? Okay, let's put Love Triber up at front and center here. Then it'll be Tina, and then Gregory. All right, let's see. All right. Here's the situation. Here's the challenges. And here's how we're going to handle it. And let's have a look at sort of, I like to call it external influences, which I almost always attribute to the planets. Let's have a look. So we've got the Page of Wands here. To me, this is exciting. The Wands energy, I feel, in this situation translates into energy, enthusiasm, inspiration, hope, opportunity, possibilities. And when you've got the page there, there's this youthful vigor and abundance and sense of possibilities that are available to you. So it's almost like, I'm not going to go into details on the chart because there could be all sorts of things I'm missing because it's just a glance. But what I'm trying to suggest here is that this chart, at this very moment in time, the exact moment that we're doing this reading, if we took hours and hours to dissect it and do the deep dive astrology, you would realize that there is opportunity built into here. There is hope. There is a light forward. There is a path forward. And it's good. It is good energy. It's worth following. It's almost like, I don't know how to describe it, but I'm feeling like the energy of a tracker dog, or like those sheep dogs that have incredibly acute senses, and they know how to track things and find things. Let's look at it this way. Page of Wands in this particular reading, you've probably never heard this interpretation before, but it makes me feel like, dear love triber, please understand and be aware that you actually have a very good nose. You have good gifts. You have the ability to sniff out opportunity where others might miss it. And then you go with it. It does take courage, because it means once you realize the good fortune, the abundance, the opportunity of the moment, that's fine, but nothing happens until you act on that. Love in action. Okay, what's the situation itself? Let's have a look here. Liberation and freedom. So, to me there's like two aspects to this. When I see this, it's like something that you've been craving for a long time, and it's actually here. Something like freedom, something like a release of a burden, and being given permission to release yourself from a burden, and welcoming, look really closely, welcoming and appreciating the amazing situation that is unfolding in front of you. It's miraculous, frankly. Look at the little guy in the background. Some people think this is all about people rising up out of their coffins, being born again into a new life, ascending into a higher state of consciousness. It's actually beautiful. Does anybody know what that flag is? I'm sure that there's a country out there or something, or maybe it's the Red Cross or something, that has this exact flag. I'd love to know if anybody knows. So to me this is kind of exhilarating here. It's about being reborn again, rebirthing, and having a second chance at life after all hope was lost. And then it's back again. Now, for this kind of energy to happen, it could have been triggered by stress of some kind. But anyway, let's have a look. What's the problem here? Of course, there's always problems. Money. Money, money, money. So, there's two aspects to this. This card is in a detrimental position here, but it is a card of sacred opportunity. This is the Ace of Pentacles. This is a card that indicates tremendous opportunity for new starts, new beginnings in the world of finance, wealth, money, personal abundance, such that you can literally migrate into a whole new world. Where is it? Come on. Please, camera. Oh, it's not doing it. There it is. Look. Can you see through the little archway? It's beautiful. So there might be a tremendous deep fear that this might never happen. Like you might be doomed forever into misery, and you're never going to have your golden moment. Your moment of golden opportunity and rekindling your finances. How are we going to deal with this? Because this is very frightening in its own way. Even though it's a beautiful card, in this position it's actually really frightening. Like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, no! How are we going to deal with this? Move on. Let's move on. Come on. Ha 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 ha. Ooh, 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 ooh. You got the Ten of Pentacles. I look at this as the attitude of gratitude in action, coming alive. The solution to overcoming the fear that everything's going to fall apart and you're facing doom and financial Armageddon is only fear, false evidence appearing to be real. In reality, you're very wealthy, you're very, very abundant, and it's time to realize it by activating the attitude of gratitude and realizing that you've got it all. Okay, now this was not easy to come by, okay? But the Ten of Pentacles here, to me, it's an indication that you have the core essentials. You've got friends, you've got family, you've got love, you've got abundance, you've got safety, you've got security, you've got all the things that people attribute to wealth, all the different interpretations of wealth. And just don't forget it. So it's a very simple story here. Just attitude of gratitude. Just remember. And that will completely remove this and take you to where you need to be and who you really are. A woman of substance. A person of substance. Okay? So you're good and you're going to be good. Tina, you're up next. All right, I have to... how am I going to do this? I need to top up my beverage. Okay, so I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to play a little TarotLumination song for a moment. And I'm going to go refill my beverage and I'll be right back and we can read for Tina. All right. So let me arrange all of this. See how am I going to do this, okay? Okie dokie. No. Oh. Okay, here we go. Okay. I did it. I've got my beverage right here. Alrighty. Right, we're going to clean up, shuffle it all up. So Tina, you're up. What is a woman? That question will get you in deep trouble, depending who you ask. Who, what, when, why, and where you ask. Oh, that just reminds me of something. Hold on. Let me just shuffle up first, okay, Tina? I gotta remember something, and I want to share it with everybody. Because it affects me personally, but it's actually real words of wisdom that I learned years ago, but obviously I didn't learn them well enough. So give me a second here. We gotta shuffle it up, clear the deck, make sure it's absolutely pristine for you, Tina. Hope everything's going very well with you and your furry friends. I know you've had some very, very bumpy times, but you seem to be extremely resilient, like outrageously resilient. The thing about this channel is that a lot of the people here know each other. So if some of you are watching and you start thinking like who are these people? Like, it sounds like they know each other. Well, we kind of do, because we have like a mini community that we've had for years now. And others are welcome. Some people come and go. Some people kind of drift in. Some people become very excited, and then they realize, oh, wait a minute. I thought, oh, no, I don't want to do this. Oh, get out of here. Bye. Okay, Tina, before we do your reading, sorry, I'm scrunching ice. I heard this a long time ago. It was probably in the 80s. And it was to do with a certain gentleman named Bill, and he was a president at the time. I think it was the 80s. And he got into a lot of trouble because he's a professional liar, like a lot of those people who get high up in office in America. And he had a little bit of hanky-panky in the White House, and he got caught with his zipper down. And a young lady was identified as his, I guess it was like a mistress or something, some sort of hanky-panky affair going on. And of course he denied it. You know, me, I'm the president, I wouldn't do that. No, I absolutely guarantee you, nothing happened. Monica who? Anyway, so after all the scandal faded and he was no longer president and life moved on, and he probably wrote books and, you know, about all his success and all his regrets, the one thing that he said that really struck me as true, everything else I thought that came out of his mouth was just BS. Especially the NAFTA agreement. It destroyed America. It's still working today to destroy America, 40 years later or whatever it was. Whoa. Okay, let me just say. So what this guy Bill said is that, oh, I learned something. I learned something very, very hard. I learned a real hard lesson. You got to really, really be careful to what you say, who you say it to, when you say it, where you say it, and how you say it, and then why you say it. I'm just saying, you got to be careful. Think about that. It's really, really true. The power of spoken word, the power of written word. You've got to be very, very careful, clear, conscious, and aware of what you say, how you say it, where you say it, when you say it, who you say it to, and why. Who, what, when, why, where, how. There's 6 qualifiers. Okay, 6 of them. I just thought I would share that, okay? I don't know why I was triggered to do that, but I did. All right, Tina, you're up. Now, you just Charlie and Sasha escaped, and they went exploring for 24 hours. That's quite a long time for the animals to be gone. They came back tired and limping. Wow. I'm getting all sentimental, Tina, because I had an amazing dog when I was a kid. It wasn't really my dog, but I was very close to him. He lived in our house when I was a young lad. Wonderful dog. And he would like to go rogue now and again. And that's how he died. He just went a little bit too far. It was very tragic. They call it the laws of the land, where the farmers basically decided they'd had enough. Everybody, all the farms for 10 miles around in every direction, they all loved this dog because he was very kind, very intelligent, very brave, very courageous, and highly protective of his humans. That means me, my brother, my sister, my mom, and my dad, and anyone that we approved of. But one day he got the taste of blood. He got involved with the wrong gang of dogs, and they went out rampaging, and they were gone for like 7 or 8 days, and they all came back, and some of the farmers recognized the different dogs, and they had all gotten the taste of blood. And especially our little fellow, because he was an incredibly powerful dog. And so he started causing mischief with the cows and the sheep and the chickens. And news got out very, very quickly. And within a matter of, I would say, 2 or 3 months, he was shot. Okay? Because he had killed farm animals. And so the farmers decided, enough is enough. We love you, Danny, but you gotta go. Sorry, man. Okay, there's a giant rainbow outside. Wow. How can that be? There's no rain here. Love Triber. Let's see what's going on. Hello, Fabio Lamarco. Is that Hispanic or Italian? Well, let's have a look. Okay. Oh, let's have a look here. Wow. Will my wife get pregnant after our relationship yesterday? Woo-hoo-hoo! Whoa! Jeepers, man. Brazilian, okay. So Brazilian, I think their language is Portuguese, isn't it? I mean, I can't speak Spanish or Portuguese or Italian, so please don't judge me, but I am pretty sure that the main language in Brazil is Portuguese. Brazil is a huge country. All right, so Fabio, I gotta, you know what? Sometimes, Fabio, there are some people here who do mini readings on the side. Right now, I'm already booked up for the evening. I'm reading for Tina. I'm reading for Gregory. And I know you want a simple yes-no question, but I can't just jump in and do that right now. So I'm going to get on with the readings. There might be somebody here on the channel, in the chat, who might be willing to help you out. We have some very gifted people here. Some of them are psychic mediums. Some of them are card readers. Some of them are astrologers, spirituals, of all kinds. You've come to a very good place. But I need to work with Tina at the moment because we have we're all scheduled. Sorry. All right, let's see. Cards are well shuffled. And let's get going here. All right, Tina. So what kind of messages do we have for Tina right now? Okay. Oh gosh. If there's any moderators out there and they want to take care of some... Oh dear. Anyway, I'll try not to get distracted. It's sometimes a bit tricky when you have unwelcome people. Ooh, okay. Hey, Fabio, please pay attention. There's a guest on the show tonight, and it's Love Triber. She's very gifted. She may be able to help you. Okay, so pay attention. I've got to do a reading for Tina right now. Cards are all... You know what? I'm going to do one more little mini shuffle. All right, here we go. Let's have a look. Let's see what's going on, Tina. We're going to do a straight out blind reading, okay? What kind of messages do we have here for Tina tonight? Here's the situation. Here's the challenges. Here's how we're going to handle it. Now, for folks who are watching, in case you don't know, Tina is a highly respected member of the channel, friend of everyone here. We're all basically friends in this community. And she's been here a long time, so it might sound like we're talking in shorthand because we already have history of working together, okay? Tina, before we start, I got a comment on the chats over here. There's a monitor over here, and I can read some of the chat if it doesn't go too quickly. And Love Triber asked a question. It's a very profound question when you think of it. Fabio, will you be excited either way? In other words, Fabio, will you be excited if your wife does get pregnant and you become a father? Or will you be excited if she doesn't get pregnant? Oh boy. Let's have a look here. Okay, Tina, here we go. Let's have a look. What's the situation like with external influences here? So we've got the Hanged Man. Okay, now I think this relates directly to the waiting on the land survey with a 4-week delay. Now also on top of that, I don't want to scare you, Tina, but it's my personal feeling is that ultimately, even though this might be frustrating, it's ultimately for your benefit. Okay? So I'm going to show you why I'm saying that. You're dealing with some very, very important aspects of your life right now. And if I recall, Tina, you have a significant Scorpio element in your personal astrology. And modern Scorpio is ruled by Pluto. Okay? Here's Pluto. So let's take a closer look at Pluto. Pluto has been retrograde in Aquarius for many weeks now. But it's retrograding into Capricorn now at the cusp here, okay? There's the 0 point. So this might have been very, very frustrating and confusing. But now when it goes retrograde into Capricorn, it's much more to do with, I would say, uncovering anything and everything that needs to be uncovered so that you can basically fix things. In other words, like with your whole like world at the moment, pivoting around the new location, the new life, the new property, the new land, the new home, it's I mean, it's a huge, it's like a huge moment in your life, and it's a very extended moment. You've been building up to this for years, and it's culminating now, and you're going through like the surveys. So if what I'm doing here on your reading is I'm basically interpreting that the surveys are very much to do with Pluto going retrograde into Capricorn for the next few months. And so it's like a very, very long, slow, deep dive, deep analysis that could be very frustrating because it probably could go very slowly as the surveying is done. And then maybe the survey, once it actually starts, maybe it'll go quickly. But there might be all sorts of things that, unexpected things coming up. The 29-degree mark is typically, I think they call it the anoretic degree. It's the point of extreme stress around the 0 point. So my feeling here with the Hanged Man is that it sort of relates to that time period coming up where you might be in a state of suspended animation unwillingly. And so without jumping ahead to the rest of the reading, when you understand the energy of the Hanged Man, it's deliberate. They understand that there's no point in trying to fight against the laws and rules and truth of nature. It's better to actually deliberately take your beautiful spiritual self here. Let's just say this is you, Tina, in your natural state of abundance. I don't know if you can see that. It's a little tricky. There. Okay? The way I see it, there's actually a tiny hint of a smile on the face. Okay? And so instead of quivering in fear about what may or may not happen, you deliberately go, you know what? I am not going to be owned by this energy over which I have no control. I am going to deliberately flip myself into a state of suspended animation where I will continue my life as though there is no survey to worry about, no stress to worry about, and it's just the process of living through the process. Okay, you have, if you're going to construct something, then you might as well do it right from the get-go, because the last thing you would want is to discover something in terms of the business side of what you're doing. In other words, think of Pluto in Capricorn. The worst thing would be to have something wrong with the business of your life. In other words, the business of your land, your house, your new construction, the contractors, the rights, the permits, all of that kind of stuff. And so, as tedious as it might be and disorienting and unwelcome, it's probably ultimately for your good. And so the way to handle it would be to deliberately, it's like imagine you're going on a long airline trip somewhere and you've realized, oh my God, I'm a little bit anxious, I'm kind of excited. Like when I go into my New Zealand trip, it's like a 13-hour flight. So you can watch 3 movies and have 3 meals and still have a lot of time on your hands. And you get to the point where what I do is I give up. I just go, you know what? I'm just going to take a long nap. I'm not going to stress about my arrival. I'm not going to be sad about my departure. I'm not going to try and fill my time with lots of, meaningless, entertainment and stuff. I'm just going to go. Hey, West End. I can't remember who you are, but please type in, just tell us more about yourself, because I can't remember. All right, let's have a look. So don't worry about this Hanged Man energy here, Tina. Ultimately, I believe it's for your benefit. It's just understanding the energy and going with the flow. What's the situation itself? Okay, so when you see the Four of Pentacles here in this deck, it looks a little bit unnerving. But when I see the Four of Pentacles, there's often an interpretation where this is very much about doing things right in order to build your castle. Okay? Your home is your castle. And you want to make sure that the foundations are strong and solid for a long-term journey. Okay? Think of it as establishing the foundations for your new home, your castle. It's got to be done right. You've got to do it right the first time. It's very, very, very important. That's why this character here seems to be kind of grumpy, holding on very, very tight to his assets. I think that's a very reasonable thing to do in the circumstances. It's very, very important that you maintain very close, tight control on your wallet. Every single day, every week, every month, doing the bookkeeping on yourself, double checking your accounts, your expenses, your cash in, your cash out. There must be absolutely no money spent or expended on anything that does not go through heavy scrutiny first. And only then, when it's gone through multiple layers of tests, would you part with your money to get something done. All right? But I think that's perfect in your situation. It might not be fun, because the fun thing would be to have your house built and everything would be gorgeous and you could live there. I remember you actually sent out pictures to your friends about the kind of model and design that you were thinking of, and it looks just gorgeous. Let's have a look. Now, what are the challenges with all of this? Okay, it's simple. The way I see it here in this reading for you, Tina, the challenge is keeping a smile while you're going through all of this. Keeping happy deliberately. How do you choose happiness? How do you maintain happiness? Your right to happiness, your right to joy, your natural, joyful, optimistic, abundant self, where you have, this is the energy of the lighthouse. This is the beam of light that shines out everywhere. And it happens by choice. When you as a person deliberately choose to be happy, it sends out an amazingly powerful, like auric field. Now with this energy here and the impending knowledge that you're going to have a survey, and certain elements of the survey are probably not going to be to your liking. They're going to say things like, oh my God, the land is a little bit fragile over here, so you can't build anything there. Or there might be an issue with some permits or some, protected animals over there. And there might be an access thing over here to the main road. And what about, utilities, electricity, water, sewage, all those kinds of things. Oh no, oh no, oh no. You could end up being miserable, like, oh God, why do I have to go through all this? But again, that's fear, like false evidence appearing real. That's just, it's almost like even if the news is bad news, like, oh, you don't have a permit for this or you don't have a permit for that, it's actually good news in its own way, because you need to know that. Because the worst thing you could do is create bad vibes with the local, authorities, like you did this, this, and this, and this on your property without a permit. And then you become the enemy. You become the local enemy. So it's very important that I think, like, you just go through the tedious process of this particular chapter in life. And knowing, while you know that there's a potential for being very unhappy because you might hear all sorts of bad news that you don't want to hear, you're still in a strong position, and you still have the right and the opportunity and the choice available to you to be happy, okay? It's just that with this card in this position, you might be scared that you don't have that option available to you. But you do. How are we going to deal with this? How are we going to keep going? Okay, so hope. Okay, you can lean on hope. You can also lean on the belief, the energy of belief. What's that word? How do we? Is it hope or is it belief? I'm not sure which one it is, but I think it's the idea of that. I think it's hope. I think it's hope. Hope is the energy of believing something in a positive way that has a good outcome when there is no hard evidence. So you have to live on hope. In other words, there's nothing to support your hope except hope. Hope it's going to be okay. But the next step is to actually believe it's okay. But you might not have enough strength to do that because you might be so fearful of what could go wrong. And so you can lean on hope. This is the Aquarius card. This is the star card, the energy of hope and optimism when it appears that everything might fail. And someone's got to do it. The water bearer, someone has to be on the lookout for what's needed for ultimate raw survival. We all need water, okay? And without it, there's nothing. So if you look, I see something on your notes here about a water well drilling company on Monday, okay? So with the star card here, let's see. I wish we could get it into really clear focus. Let me see if we can. You see all the water there? Obviously, this is relating to your well. You're going to look for a water well drilling company on Monday. But the road must go in first, and that can't happen till the survey. Okay, so you can see all these multiple layers here in the Four of Pentacles. So, yeah. I think you said something earlier, Tina, about you've made a decision you're just going to stay in the cab until it's all done. That's perfectly understandable. It sounds really complicated. Like you've got two lots combined into that's going to have to be combined into one. Builders are telling you that the larger company for the drillers have a 1-year wait time. Well, okay, so Tina, that's a good strategy. Be hopeful, maintain your hope and belief that let's just stay optimistic, okay? Stay optimistic, even though you might feel unhappy and scared. You have a right and the ability to choose to be happy anyway. It sounds like you already have a very good grasp of what's going on in terms of the reality of your situation. The Four Pentacles here, the foundations of your new life, your new world. Permits, a water well, structural issues, whatever you have to do to get things right so that a contractor and a builder can actually come in there and do things with the right permits and with coming out with the right outcomes so that you don't live in fear. You don't have to live frightened that everything's going to fall apart. And if you do things in a very, very earthy, grounded, material, financial, responsible manner, one step at a time. Remember, you're building your castle here. The Four of Pentacles is all about building your castle. And your castle is your home. You cannot afford to waste one penny on frivolous activities. Everything has to be concentrated into taking care of business so that your home is your castle. Okay? You don't want to build something and realize, oh my God, I didn't get the right permits, and then you have to rip off part of the house. That's not right. Okay? All right. So, yeah, the way forward, of course, Tina, obviously, is to trust and believe and know and understand that you're going to be okay, but you got to do some really fundamental things and hope and believe and know that there is water and you will find it. You know what? Before I move on to Gregory's reading, I want to add something on here. Okay. You're going to be okay, Tina, obviously. Okay, dowsing, water dowsing. I've done water dowsing. It's actually pretty cool. And I've done it quite a few times when I was a kid, and I was doing it kind of in a group situation, and the person conducting the situation, the event, was actually a physics teacher. Okay? And I was thrilled to do this. And I devised my own dowsing tools. And what I did is I took a coat hanger, just an old-fashioned, silver steely wire coat hanger, and I cut it all up. And I bent it into a shape that was like this. It was just, I bent it and kept moving it till it was very, 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 very long and straight. And I bent it 90 degrees at the end, a very precise 90 degrees, so that I could hold it in my hand. And I did that with 2 pieces of coat hanger wire. Let me go over here for a second. So that's what I did. So my dowsing sticks looked like this, made out of coat hanger wire. You have to get it exactly 90 degrees or as close as you can, and then you hold it around here. So Tina, here's what I'm thinking, just for the heck of it, just like for fun. Here's what I'm thinking. We'll go to Gregory's reading in just a moment. Just for fun, Tina, because I'm sure you've got the more than enough sensory abilities in your physiology, but also in your body, mind, heart, and soul, for you to be able to do effective dowsing. And I wouldn't do it over there if you're going to get a professional dowser or a professional mining company. I would do this on the quiet when no one else is around, and keep a map. If you can make a crude, like paper map of your property, like a grid system, like draw a grid, like put the mountain here, the mountain here, the mountain there, the road's going to go there, that's north, south, east, and west, and then go round with these coat hangers. And I'll see if I can do it. And so what happens is, what you have to do, Tina, is this. You have to go out walking around with your arms fairly extended and do your best to keep the dowsing rods in your hand at a very good, healthy 90 degrees. Not too much sorry, the cameras can't handle it. Not too much of, sorry, I'm going to see if I can do it because of the, God, it must be all the technology. Give me a second. Let me try it this way. So I'm going to do it really close up. I'm going to flip it. Let me do it, let me try using blue pens because the chromographs sometimes might not take it. Let me try this. No, we're going to stick with blue, okay? Pretend this is your dowsing rod. and you hold them, extend your arms like this, and you're holding the dowsers roughly at 90 degrees in a good classic vertical. Not too much of this, not too much of that, not too much of this or that. It has to be a really good, steady vertical. And in each hand, what you would do, what I would do is hold them about a foot out from your torso. And then the rod is going to extend outwards, sort of like this, okay? But much longer, okay? And so when you're walking around, what happens is, pretend my arms are now the rods, okay? So you're walking around, you've got your dowsing rods in front of you, you're holding them like this, and then suddenly your rods do this. And you walk backwards and they do this. Check it again. Walk forward, walk backward. Then walk to the left and then walk to the right. But eventually, like, do 4 angles, north, south, east, and west, to get your most accurate. And what will happen is directly under where you have the cross, directly under the cross will be water. Okay? That's the very old-fashioned way. I don't know how they do professional dowsing today. Anyway, I was very, very accurate. The reason I know I was very accurate is because our science physics teacher already had a grid of the property that we were doing the dowsing experiment. And there was myself and a bunch of other kids doing our dowsing. But I felt like I really was on it. And then after the event was over, he showed me exactly where my dowsing points had detected water. So there you go. And it worked. Now, I don't know if everybody can do it, but I know that I can if I wanted to. I don't think I could do it here because there's not a lot of water except for artificial water. But anyway, so I thought I would share that. I think it would be kind of fun to practice doing your own dowsing. You can learn how to do it. You have to practice and practice, but eventually you can get it, okay? All right. Thanks, Tina. I hope that helped. Next up, Mr. Ross. All right, let's have a look. Ivona, hello. Didn't you get here earlier? Okay. Okay, so I'm going to put everything back together. We're going to shuffle up, and we're going to do our last reading of the evening for Mr. Gregory Ross. All right, let's have a look. All right, what kind of messages do we have for Mr. Ross tonight? For those watching who don't know, Mr. Ross is homesteaded over in Santa Fe, New Mexico. Sometimes we go through weird phases on this channel, but in the glory days, we had, thousands of viewers per video, and I would do like 5 private readings a week. I was, of course, burnt out and exhausted because you can't really sustain it, that level, but it was great while it lasted. And we had clients all over the world. I was so proud of that. I still am proud of that today. We had, of course, clients in America, but I had from Canada, from Mexico, from Argentina, South Africa, France, England, Scotland, Ireland, Norway, Germany, Libya, India, the Philippines, Australia, New Zealand. Those are the ones I can remember. I was very proud of that. All right, let's have a look. So what kind of messages do we have from Mr. Ross tonight? Let's see now. All right, here we go. Thank you for your patience, everybody. This is from Mr. Ross. Let's cut it up. Oh, that was a big cut there. Wow. All right. We're going to do a blind reading. I haven't seen the name pop up on the chat anywhere, so I don't know. Here's the situation. Here's the challenges. Here's how we're going to handle it. And let's have a look at external influences. Oh, but the whole deck's upside down. Excuse me. Hold on a second. I'm sorry, I have to cheat a little bit here. Okay, so we're going to, all we have to do is, okay, so we're just going to do this. Pardon me. I'm going to blame it on the planets, of course, as you know. All right, here's the situation. Here's the challenges, of course, and here's how we're going to handle it. And over here, we're just dealing with external influences and what do they look like? How are you going to interpret that? Of course, everybody knows on this channel that I almost exclusively blame it on the planets. Here we go. Okay, so we've got the Tower card. Please do not be scared. In some ways, the Tower card is the most powerful card of healing because it's like it basically obliterates anything and everything that you really don't need in your life anymore. And even if you wanted to hold on to it, it would be taken away anyway, so there's no point in resisting. Kerblam! I mean, just look at the artistry on this card. Isn't that just staggering? It's no wonder so many people are terrified of this card. Like the Uranus lightning vibes energy. Uranus is in Taurus right now, right next to Mercury, fairly far away from Jupiter. Jupiter's in Taurus right now, amplifying the Uranian energy of extreme volatility, excitement, wonders beyond imagination, and evolutionary, I guess you could call it, events, because this is the kind of energy that triggers spontaneous evolution, and there's no going back. Okay, so you see the characters being ejected or falling out or deliberately jumping from the tower. It's just terrifying for some people, but it's actually a beautiful thing. If you could please interpret this as an incredible opportunity to just blow up and obliterate anything and everything that your life that you've decided says, you know what, I don't need this anymore. I don't want this, I don't want that, I don't want to be here, I don't want to be there, I don't want to be with these people or that people or do this thing or that thing. Screw it all. I don't care anymore. I'm going to blow up my whole life and then look around and cherry pick anything out of the rubble that's worth keeping and then go forward. You know? So let's attribute that to the astrology. Of course. Duh. Well, this is very extreme, harsh astrology, in case I haven't told you earlier. Mars is still opposite Pluto. Venus is opposite Pluto, and Jupiter is in Taurus at the low degrees, hard squaring the Mars-Pluto thing. So with this Mars-Pluto, there's a lot of tremendous pent-up energy that has to be released somehow. On the global scale, this energy is being expressed as massive escalation in violence and outbreaks of violence all over Earth right now for whatever reasons. Okay? But on a mass scale, because with Pluto we're dealing with the masses. Okay? So, at the same time, Jupiter is in Taurus here. Now, Taurus, of course, we're talking about money. Big, big, big money. When you add Jupiter, okay? And it's still conjoining the North Node. So, my feeling is that this Tower card here is about you looking at your world, examining your world, and realizing, you know what? If my world does not blow up spontaneously through natural events, I'm just going to go ahead and blow the whole thing up myself for whatever reason I can think of at the moment in time. And I'm going to add something to that, okay, Mr. Ross? And I hope you enjoy it, because I mean very well. I mean well out of this. Sometimes it's really, really, really satisfying and fun to just blow things up. Okay? I know from experience. For example, this might sound like a strange piece of medicine or something. I don't know if you have any shooting ranges in Santa Fe. I don't know if you're, have any of those bang sticks or anything. But sometimes it can be very, very satisfying to just go to a shooting range, and if you have to, rent one of their items and just, go through all the screening with the coach and the, supervisors and all that, and just blow off at a few targets, like it's just an idea. I just thought I'd share it. It can boost your adrenaline, your testosterone for a few minutes. It can actually be quite terrifying. But it's also especially if you've got an outdoor shooting range. It's just an idea. Kind of like to, get it out of the system, get the energy flowing so you don't, because the worst thing you could do is try to contain that energy. That's an energy that really needs to be released, and you want to do it in a healthy, fun, exciting, invigorating, and purposeful way. And sometimes it's best just to do something really shocking and awesome. Shock and awe. And then afterwards you kind of go, wow, that felt good. Wow. Now I know what I'm going to do. All right? So that was I'm sharing that. That's a bonus on top of your reading. That's just a TarotLumination personal bonus. All right, here we go. All right, so let's have a look. What's the situation? Here we go. To me, it feels like I'll be damned if I do, I'll be damned if I don't, so I'm just going to go frickin' do it anyway. I'm going to do what I have to do because I know what is right and I know what is wrong, and I'm very, very clear about that, and I'm damned if I'm going to let anybody screw me over or interfere with my personal destiny. If I have to, I will use whatever means necessary to get done what has to be done. Especially if there's someone interfering in your business, or especially someone external to you, or something external to you that is trying to deliberately undermine you or jeopardize you. Okay? To me, I'm taking this energy very, very personally and attributing it very much to you. Ah, it's beautiful. Look at that. Look at the posture. Look at the strength. Look at the power. And when I look at the sword there, I'm reminded of the power of the spoken word and the power of the written word. And then I'm going back to that thing I spoke about earlier from Bill, Mr. Bill Clinton, when he said, many years later when he realized his silliness, he said, really got to understand it. You got to be real careful what you say. You got to be careful what you say, how you say it, where you say it, when you say it, and who you say it to, and why you say it. Who, what, when, why, where, how. Okay? So, all I'm saying is just be careful, but do not okay, let's put it this way. I think something has to be done here. It's either the written word or the spoken word, and you're going to have to do it. You're going to have to take care of business, and do not be shy, but be very, very, very careful about the words in terms of where they're going, like to who you say it to, when you say it, where you say it, how you say it, why you say it, and how. Oh, I probably got them all wrong. Basically, who, what, when, why, where, how. Okay? Now, what's the challenges here? Oh, okay. So we're talking about big plans for the future. The challenges here makes me feel, because this is in a frustrating position, obviously, it makes me feel that there is some kind of external influence here that is interfering with your plans for your future, for your wonderful new future. And it's inappropriate and it's not welcome. So it might feel as though, like, damn it, I deserve the future, the awesome future that I deserve. And I've always wanted to do this, be this, go here, go there. But I'm scared it may never happen because of whatever this is. But remember, fear, false evidence appearing real. So we'll see about this, okay? I would understand the frustration here, because to me this would be extremely frustrating. It would be like me being a very, very amazing racehorse, and somebody just locks me inside a horse stable for days, weeks, months on end. I need to get out. I need to be around. I need to live life. I got places to go, people to see, things to do. Okay? I understand you, Gregory, here. I understand the frustration. So how are we going to deal with this going forward? Okay. Obviously, let things die off. Whatever is dead, redundant, that was going to die off anyway, let it die off. Don't stand in your own way. Do not fear the Saturn in Pisces energy, for example. Yes, it might feel oppressive. It might instill great fear inside of you. But ultimately, I think this is something's happening here for your benefit in such a way that it means some kind of letting go or releasing or deliberately, like we were saying earlier, like this might be something to do with not just like a change of life, but a downsize of life, like super ultra streamlining of life. You might have thoughts and feelings about, wow, maybe I should just blow up my life as I know it, but do it deliberately, like so that you don't end up as a victim and allow external circumstances to blow up your life against your will. Instead, you take charge of the situation and you actually do the demolition job on yourself, and you create the transformation energy for yourself in order for you to transform. This is the energy of transformation, okay? Transformational energy healing. Think of those words very carefully. Transformational energy healing. Okay, it's the healing power of love that occurs through transformation. Like you enter into a cocoon type thing. The Gregory Ross that you knew dies off and disappears completely, and the new Gregory Ross emerges. It is the caterpillar, the chrysalis, and the butterfly. Okay? So if you think of yourself right now here as the caterpillar part of Gregory Ross, the life that you know very well, that you've been living for since whenever, but you're going through a chrysalis moment where it's going to be the death of one life and the birth of a new life. Transformation. But it has to be done in a way and in accordance that's appropriate for you, so that it is not imposed on you or forced on you or hijacked upon you or maliciously done upon you. And you instead, you take charge and you capture all this incredibly powerful energy here. It's basically like capturing nuclear energy and doing something useful with it, like they do with nuclear power plants. Theoretically, it's potentially extremely dangerous, but you can also use it to create phenomenal amounts of energy and life and power, just like they do with nuclear-powered submarines. Some of the American nuclear submarines, you can drive underwater for 2 or 3 years without having to refuel. Okay? That's the power of nuclear. That's nuclear energy. You can tap into that. You don't have to be at the mercy of that. You can tap into it. So you accept and understand that you are at this chapter of life. Okay? Caterpillar, chrysalis, butterfly. You're going to be just fine. Don't be scared. Thank you, Mr. Ross. I hope this makes sense to you. I'm just conveying this like it's like a little movie script, and you will obviously do your own reinterpretations. I know you love to read your own cards too, okay? All right, so I'm just going to let that sit for a moment. It's just beautiful. I love seeing these readings. I know they look very simple because it's just 4 cards. I've had readings with tarot readers myself many years ago where they would fill up the whole table with like the whole freaking deck. And it just turned into gobbledygook. I mean, kind of meaningless. Just making up stuff as they go along. Anyway, thank you for trusting yourself with me, Mr. Ross. I hope you can interpret this or reinterpret that or understand the hidden meaning in the story here. Okay? So I'm just going to clear this up, quickly put it all back together, and then we can wrap up here tonight, because we've all got lives to live, places to go, things to do. Okay? So I'll clear that in a minute. I'm just going to say goodnight to everybody. All right, I hope we've had a jolly, fun, entertaining evening for all of us, not just the clients, but anyone who's watching. Again, like I mentioned earlier, if somebody needs personal, private, one-on-one attention, we can do that through my Zoom, because we can talk about anything. It doesn't matter. And I've done thousands of readings, and so, whatever it is, we'll deal with it. Okay, so what you do, you go over here, you go to TarotLumination.com. This is the donate page, but what you do is you go to the readings page and you book it down, you press the yellow button, and you book your reading. It's that simple. All right, so let's wrap it up. The chat seems to have stalled out, so I am just going to gracefully fade away. Enjoy the rest of your evening, nighttime, everybody. It's been wonderful. I'm going to stop myself right now, but I'm going to play a little bit of outro music so that I just don't suddenly shut down before the actual show is over. Okie dokie. I hope that makes sense to you. And we'll do it this way. we'll see how we go.